All right, I like what you brought today.
Thank you. If you are watching on YouTube, then you will see I am wearing an American flag tank top. And as my older daughter, Parker, commented on it, she said it looks like a tank top that a guy with a mullet having a Marlboro cigarette hanging out of his mouth would be wearing.
I don't disagree.
I like it. I feel very festive on this episode.
That's good. I went a little more low key. I'm doing the Bruce Springsteen type 4th of July apparel right now.
Yes, James is sporting a blue bandana and a white v-neck. It is very much a Born to Run look.
It is not Born to Run at all. It's Born in the USA.
Oh, wait, was Born to Run on the album Born in the USA?
No, you're so not a fan. Like the waters you're walking into are way too deep.
Wait, hold on. Did he have 2 albums start with the word born?
He did. He absolutely did. Born to Run, and then years later, Born in the USA.
Huh, okay, not very creative.
That is sacrilege. I can't believe you would say that about the boss. So I'm just going to move on and tell everyone that today we are getting into a 4th of July episode, complete with our own anecdotes, lots of stories from around the nation, and the top 10 places to celebrate 4th of July in these United States of America. Shall we go?
Yeah, let's get started. This is going to be fun.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
Welcome back, All-Stars, to another edition of Skip Town. We are so happy you could join us today for this holiday episode. I didn't say special, so there. Today is our 4th of July episode. We are going to be celebrating in Greenville, South Carolina with cousin Doreen.
We are. I am so excited because it's been like maybe I've never gone anywhere for 4th of July. Like this is the first. I'm like, have I ever gone to someone else's city for... Oh, I went to Ohio for 4th of July one year with you.
You did?
I did, but that was the only time I've ever gone out of town for the 4th of July. So this is a big deal for me because I love to think about how other towns celebrate their 4ths. I know how we celebrated it, growing up in Chicago. I know how we celebrated it in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. I know how you celebrated in Ohio from that one year I went.
Yeah, you saw it.
But I have no idea how they celebrate it in Greenville. And I always think in my head, 4th of Julys are so Americana. I always conjure like small towns with their, parade down Main Street and, all the neighbors having, street parties and bringing their food. And, it'll be interesting to see how they do it in Greenville. Greenville's not a small town, so it'll be fun. I know what we're doing on 4th.
What are we?
We're going to a baseball game.
Oh, we are?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. Doesn't get more American than that.
Agreed.
Are we renting a Chevy?
No, we're taking the Subaru.
Oh. It's not very American.
It's actually not. It's a Japanese car, right? So it's not very American.
Yeah. But it's going to be fun. We're looking forward to that. But before we head out, we had to sit down with you guys and break out our 4th of July hot takes.
Yes.
Before we get into that, though, we remind you that if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you are listening to us on Spotify, how about a rating? And Apple Podcasts, give us a review. We appreciate all the input, interaction you've given us throughout these last 100 plus episodes. Don't make today an exception, especially on America's birthday.
Yeah, you're in the car, you're listening, you're headed to your favorite 4th of July, share it with a friend. Like, that is the best compliment you can give us is when you share it with a friend, whether you share it on your socials. We've had people share our stories on their stories, share it on Facebook, throw up one of our posts on your page. It is really nice when we see that, so thank you.
That was very sweet how you said that, a little thank you at the end there.
Yeah, it takes effort to do that, and I really appreciate it.
It does, absolutely. All right, so much to talk about. Where do you want to begin?
Oh, I want to talk about like our early 4th of July traditions, like when we were kids, because every adult has their 4th of July traditions that they always think of when they were younger. And, what were yours?
So I grew up in a small town, about 3,000 plus residents, and mine was your typical small town America parade down. I believe ours was not it was not Main Street. It was School Street or something like that, or Mahoning Avenue. I forget, but lots of fire trucks, especially from, our fire department, but also other areas would bring their fire trucks out. I grew up, in an environment where people kind of have to pitch in. The guys in the community all join the fire department. It's a volunteer station, so it's always fun seeing your neighbors. In my case, my dad, my brother, my nephew, all these people that mean so much to me, rolling through on the fire trucks. Little kids dressed up, faces all smeared with popsicle, and waving, little American flags and all that. There was for a number of years, so I grew up in Lake Milton, Ohio, plug for our Ask a Local episode on YouTube, go check it out, where I take you through my hometown. There was a marina there, and I remember there was a stretch of time where there was kind of a ski club in Lake Milton, and they would actually put on a really good little show. Just a bunch of locals who could ski the hell out of that lake, and they would actually do pyramids and jumps and tricks and stuff. It was crazy. So
wow.
Yeah, it was really nice. They'd put on a show for us. That was down near the old bingo hall, and they used to do a little carnival out there near the parking lot. Did you ever play that game at like a festival where it has sort of all the playing cards on a roulette wheel, and you put your money down on like the ace of spades or whatever, and if you put your money down and it comes up, then you win some money back or whatever. So I remember playing that game. I was probably 8 years old, way too young to be gambling, but that's where the bug started.
Did you guys have a cakewalk?
I don't know. Maybe I know what a cakewalk is. I don't know if we had it on 4th of July.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, I think that was more for like school functions and stuff like that.
Yeah. So so most of your 4th of Julys revolved around going to the lake.
Yep.
Having the amazing water skiers.
Yep.
A little carnival in a parking lot.
Yep. And then the fireworks show at night after it got dark.
Okay, but did they do the fireworks on the lake, or did you guys go to a big open field?
It was an open field. Yeah.
That just sounds so dangerous.
It kind of was. I guess, now that I think about it.
Those videos you always see on social media where they're in a field and then the fireworks go like awry, and then people are running for their lives, like away from their little folding chairs. It always happens in a field.
I know, and there's always some guy out there smoking a Marlboro, two-finger Terry out there with a road flare lighting these mortars off, these cannons from the ground. But yeah, that was pretty much our that was pretty much our experience.
Did you guys lay your blanket on the hood of your car and watch the fireworks?
No, you could lay like right in the field. So people would just come out, lay their blankets. They do picnic basket, but you could also buy food there, hot dogs, all that business. So it was good. It was a good little community get together every single year. It happened for a long time. I don't know if I aged out of it and they kept doing it. Like there came a point where I just wanted to ride around with my friends and cause trouble. So, because we could all drive. But it was totally your Americana upbringing. It's a great memory. I cherish those memories. I don't think I ever had a bad 4th of July memory. Yeah. And when, I should mention, when we weren't doing that, or even if we did do that later in the day, my Uncle Freddie would always throw a big party at his house. He had a pond and 60 acres or something like that, 100 acres. And it was my cousin Tara's birthday every 4th of July.
Oh my gosh.
So he would do a pig roast. We would shoot off fireworks. That's how I went out. I went out on top going to Uncle Fred's house, because then I could bring he would always let me bring all my college friends every single year. And so, because they'd be like, are we doing 4th of July?
Would they start asking you in April if you're doing 4th of July?
Like, oh my gosh, your uncle's place is so awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. So would you go to the lake first or Uncle Fred's?
I think in the end, because you always had to sort of end up at the big fireworks show.
At the field.
Uncle Fred would have fireworks, don't get me wrong.
Okay, all right, hold on.
Roman candles,
let's talk about
all
this.
that business.
Let's talk about this.
We would start out there, I think, and then go to the lake.
There was no regulation at Uncle Fred's with the fireworks.
Oh, no, not in the 70s and 80s,
okay,
no way.
So you start off with sparklers. At what age did you get to throw a firecracker? Now I know your dad was kind of strict, and he was really
My dad
worried
was strict.
about like your fingers being blown off. But
He was.
Was Uncle Fred?
It was actually, no, Uncle Fred was very lax, but safe, but lax. He didn't want us to get hurt. He didn't want anyone getting hurt on his watch. So he would show you a couple times how to light, how to toss, all that stuff. And then it was up to you. It was like, may the odds be ever in your favor. So my dad was strict, but after a couple beers, he was fine. He would relax. My mother was the one where, we had to like send her in the house to get more potato salad or something. And then the kids could all, like my brother and I, could throw our firecrackers. But yeah, that was a good time.
Who was missing the fingers in the family?
My grandmother, but it did not happen over fireworks. She worked
God.
at a delicatessen.
Grandma Grace.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Grandma Grace.
She worked at a delicatessen.
R.I.P.
And that's the story. Pour some out for Grandma Grace. She was awesome. I love her so much.
Okay, what age are you allowed to throw firecrackers?
I would say the first time I threw one, I was probably 6 or 7, something like that.
That's really young.
Well, in the country, everything happens faster. So
M80s?
Not everything, I guess, but many things. M80s were later, 10, 12 years old. Those are the big boys as far as, kids throwing firecrackers are concerned. So
I never understood M80s.
Oh my gosh.
They're just
awesome.
they just scare the crap out of you when they go off. I don't understand. They make your heart race. If you're not paying attention, you don't hear it coming, you see it coming. It's awful.
Yeah, and when you get older, you graduate to like M100s. And so those are the ones, I don't know if you remember, there was a 4th of July in LA where we heard a really loud boom and it rattled the windows as we were watching the movie. And I walk out there and there were a bunch of kids in the alley that had thrown an M100 in one of our garbage cans.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. And I said, guys, take it down. Like, please. So you're going to break my windows.
I was always scared of Roman candles because I think those can go in any direction. Those are really dangerous.
They are, especially when you let a little kid hold one and they get freaked out on that first one because it's a little bit, it's got a little kick to it. Pop. And then they get freaked out and all of a sudden they're like, here, take this. And they want to hand it to somebody and they're pointing it like right at the parents. Aunt Janine's like going to lose an eye because little Timmy doesn't know what to do. He's in over his head.
The memories.
I know.
The
America.
memories.
So anyway, all right, let's talk about you. Let's talk about city life because you had a dramatically different upbringing.
Okay, so you know what? Okay, we technically would do our 4th of July's in the suburbs. So we didn't have as much space as you did. Nobody had 60 acres or 100 acres.
Right.
So the houses were, on top of each other. And it wasn't the suburbs that you're thinking of. It was a city suburb, So it was all kind of walk-ups.
Yeah.
So small backyards, but it was always really fun. We would go to my Uncle Johnny's. And my mom would bring fried chicken, potato salad. Everyone brought something. And there was a parade down near his house. It was all day. I mean, it was so much fun. Everybody came to Uncle Johnny's. I mean, everyone. So I remember that as a young person. Then it obviously changed as I got older. So what would then happen was when I moved to the city, because I moved to the city fairly young. I was 20. I don't even know if I was 21. So, at that point you would go to Navy Pier to see fireworks in Chicago. Navy Pier is kind of back in the day, it was sort of whatever your touristy area where you obviously can't, no cars are allowed. It's all pedestrian walking, and it is a legit pier. So you'd go to Navy Pier and you'd watch fireworks, or if you lived in the city, you could literally just walk outside your door and see the fireworks. So it just would depend. I mean,
those shows had to have been huge.
They were so much fun. Oh my God, they were so much fun. And you never worried about parking. How now it's parking. It was you just go down to Navy Pier and you watch the fireworks. I mean, we were lucky because in the city you have transportation. So, you could take a train. You would have to walk a little ways. But it was really, really fun. And you would usually hang out with your friends during the day at someone's apartment. And a lot of times, if you were lucky, your friend had a rooftop on top of their building where you can go and hang out on the rooftop. And if there was a game, like a Chicago Cubs game, oh my God, that was even
Baseball
better.
Season's in full swing,
oh my God. So, but then sometimes living in the city too, you would go out to a friend's house that lived in the suburbs. It just would depend. There was a lot of, where I lived on the north side of Chicago, and it just wasn't a good area. So, when it started getting dark, the gunfire, it was like really, it was dangerous. You had to be in literally, like you had this time frame where you couldn't come to the neighborhood, like between like 8 o'clock and like honestly midnight, like, because you're taking a chance by getting hit with gunfire, and that's just the truth. So you either had to come after midnight when it all slowed down, or you had to be home before 8 o'clock. So yeah, because there was a lot of gunfire.
Okay, sounds awesome.
I dodged a few.
Nothing like we didn't experience in LA.
That is very true. So it did change for you quite a bit in Los Angeles. For me, it was not that different. The only difference for me celebrating 4th of July in LA was that I didn't go to our Navy Pier was Warner Center Park, and I never went to go watch fireworks there because people started camping out there like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I remember one time I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even get to that area. I remember I had to get the kids on a bus to get them over to see the fireworks.
Yeah, so, it was just always a grind. So LA, I would have to say the 4th of Julys were a bummer for me. They were not the same celebration, so they must have been really disappointing for you.
It was. I do remember one year, I thought maybe we were up on a hillside or something
Hollywood
like that.
Bowl.
Yeah.
You went to the Hollywood Bowl?
Yeah, we went to the Hollywood Bowl. We saw the fireworks there.
Yeah.
And I know, maybe it's just because I saw a video, but I know if you went up to like Reseda Canyon or one of those canyon roads, you can sit there and you could see from above all the fireworks going off down in the valley below.
Do you remember
It's a good sight.
when we lived in Studio City, which is right near Universal, we could see the fireworks from our balcony in our apartment?
Yeah, we could just stand outside on our balcony and watch Universal Studios kick theirs off.
Yeah, so city 4th of July is just really different.
That's different. I mean, I don't think we ever did a parade or anything. I don't even remember.
Where's our parade?
No idea. Did they have one in downtown? That would have been crazy.
No.
Especially, downtown's somewhat better now in terms of businesses and stuff like that. Where would they even have it?
No parade. I mean, Pasadena.
Oh yeah, Pasadena. I'm sure.
Maybe
it has.
like Laguna, like Newport Beach,
Santa Monica, stuff like that.
Oh, do you remember that one year we spent 4th of July on the beach with like these church people?
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That was 4th of July.
Were we dating then, or we had just been married? We were just married.
No, we were dating because we were looking for a church. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's a good story. So before James and I got married, we really were trying to find a church to belong to because we wanted to get married in a church, but I was raised Catholic, he was raised Methodist, and neither one of us belonged to any kind of congregation.
Right, and you wanted to get married in Florida, and the minister, priest, whatever there said, I highly recommend you join a church in LA. It'll be a lot easier for me to get you approved to be married here.
Yes.
If you belong to a church.
So we went to like a Methodist church, we went to a Catholic church, we even went to, I think, a Presbyterian church. Like we were just checking it out because we both kind of thought we don't want to just join a church and then never go. Like maybe we can find a community that, we could be a part of. For me, it'd be like Christmas and Easter. But any case, so, oh my gosh, I worked at Virgin Records. And I met a girl there who was beautiful, like a beautiful girl, amazing singer. And she invited me one night out to go see her sing. And I brought James. And she was a really good singer. Sure. And after like her performance, she's like, oh, I want you to meet some of my friends. So we met her friends. We had a great time. We like hung out, whatever. And then seriously, I think it was like maybe a week later or so. She invited me to hang out with her friends at 4th of July. Like I saw her at work the next, week, and we were just having lunch together, and I really liked her. And so she said, hey, my friends that you met and some other people, we're doing a big 4th of July celebration party, volleyball on the beach in like Newport, right? Newport.
It was Redondo.
Yeah. And so I had never done that, right? I lived in LA for just short of like 2 years at that point, and I had never done a 4th of July on the beach. And I thought, oh my gosh, let's do it. So we go, and it's like a bunch of people. It's got to be like 10 people, maybe 15, right? All beautiful people. And we're like, oh, what are we doing
They
here?
were a good looking group.
Yeah, we're like, what are we doing here? So
What do you mean? We fit right in.
I don't know. They were really pretty. So anyway, so, you know, they're playing volleyball and this and that. So I'll never forget, they had a cooler. And they were like, oh, don't worry about bringing anything. Because I remember we didn't like bring anything. Because they're like, no, we have everything. It's already planned. We've had this set up for a while. So James goes to the cooler to grab a beer. And there was no beer. It was like water, lemonade. It was just like non-alcoholic beverages. So then we were like, wow, that's so weird. Just because, you know, we're just so used to like 4th of July, everyone's going to have a beer.
Yeah, well, I thought maybe it was just because they were on the beach and they didn't want to get busted. Maybe you can't have alcohol or whatever. So at first I was like, that sucks. But then I was like, all right, whatever. We'll get beers later,
Yeah.
you know?
So then what we find out shortly after is that everyone in this group is part of a church. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. All I'm going to say is that like we ended up going to someone's apartment after the day, right? We spent the whole day with
We
them.
stopped and got beer on the way.
I think we did, right?
Yeah, because I had a few at that point.
Oh, I don't drink beer, so I definitely didn't
No,
have
you
any.
didn't.
But anyway, so we realized quickly that you know, the girl that invited me to come see her sing, it wasn't like, hey, you know, I want to hang out with you. Like, you seem nice and we work together. It was like, hey, join my church. So one thing led to another, and we were like on the fast track of like becoming, like they wanted us to be members of this church. So I remember thinking it was odd. I remember calling my brother Ron, who's a true born again, and my sister-in-law Vicky, and they know the Bible inside and out. And I just remember thinking like, this doesn't feel right. Like, just the whole thing didn't feel right. And then my brother was like, yeah, seems kind of questionable. I don't know. You should be careful. It's not a church I've ever heard of. And so, so literally, like, it takes about 2 months, but we finally separate ourselves from this group, right? Like, I have to tell them I'm not interested in going to the church. And, you know, we went to a couple services. It just didn't feel right. And I said,
It was creepy. That's what she's getting at. Go ahead.
okay. So then I had to separate myself. Not easy, because they have a whole system in place. Like, they put you in touch with another couple who lives right by you, and then they invite you for dinner, and then it's like you're inundated with these people nonstop, like Monday through Sunday. Like, hey, we have like a fun board game on Wednesday group. Come hang with us. And you know, you're young, you're in your 20s, you want to meet other people. I was fairly new to LA. He was as well. Anyway, okay, 5 months later, I'm watching TV. And MTV has a special, and it's all about cults in America. And this church was listed as number 1.
Yep.
And the building we went to like for their service was like on display. Like, they had like cameras rolling, like, and so this is like, you know, the most like, you know, popular one in Los Angeles. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, how are we not on camera? We actually have walked into that building. It wasn't Scientology, but in any case, yeah, that was a really memorable 4th of July. That was literally the inauguration of
Remember-
us getting to know those people.
Oh, for sure. Do
Yeah.
you remember we were at their house and we were playing some game or whatever? I'm drinking beers. Nobody else is.
Yeah.
And something happened in the game, and you and I are so competitive that we started smack talking back and forth, you and I. And then all of a sudden they were all looking at each other like, what do we do with these two? It was so funny and awkward for them. Where you and I were just like, we were just talking back and forth and like slamming each other. And, you know, that's like a normal Friday night at our house, playing a board game. So,
I think at one point, didn't we do like rock, paper, scissors because
Oh,
we were
yeah.
so annoyed with each other?
and I
Like,
lost. I always lose at rock, paper, scissors.
because I just wanted you to stop. So I was like, let's do rock, paper, scissors. Oh,
Yeah.
they were just staring at us like, who are these two people?
Yeah.
But it didn't stop them from wanting us to be part of the cult.
It did not.
And then like years later, we're talking, it's been 20 years now. One of my best friends is getting married. And I'm standing up in her wedding. And at the reception is the girl.
No way.
Yeah, is the girl that invited me to see her sing. And it's my best friend's cousin. And I said to her, I was like, how do you know her? And she goes, she's my cousin. I go, oh, wow. She goes, how do you know her? And I said, I met her at like Virgin Records back in the day. We worked together. She's like, oh, she was part of some crazy like religious thing. Thank God she's out of it now.
She's like all normal now.
I kept my mouth shut. I didn't say anything about
That was
going
a
to
smart play.
any of the meetings.
Did she recognize you at all?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, she did?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Hello, hello kind of
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
No. Anyway. That was one LA experience, but when we bought our house, it was a different type of experience, especially in our neighborhood because it bordered a Mexican-American neighborhood. Let me just preface this with, it doesn't need to be 4th of July for our Mexican brothers and sisters to want to shoot off fireworks or Roman candles or bottle rockets or whatever. It could be Christmas.
Yep.
It could be Easter.
Yep.
It could be Chewy's birthday. Doesn't matter.
Yep. Fireworks are going off.
Yeah. And then we had the Armenian brothers next to us.
Across
right
the street.
across the street.
Yeah. Uh-huh. They were always happy to light off fireworks, like at any time of the day. And they love doing it on Halloween with like toddlers and young kids
Kids
walking
walking around in their costumes. They're lighting off fireworks in the front yard.
in the middle of the street too at one point.
Yeah. I'm glad they got arrested. We're not going to go into that. You like paused.
Well, because I called the police on them so many times.
Oh, that's right. You're the one that got them arrested.
I'm the one that got
Oh my
them
God,
arrested.
they were kooks. Like the one guy was chasing the other guy in the front yard with a 2x4. I remember that one night. Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah. Those were our neighbors.
Yeah, they were not healthy on the inside. So anyway, what did you celebrate any 4th of July's in like a hootie tootie area like Beverly Hills or anything like that?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I never did. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. So I work. So you guys know, I used to work as a personal assistant for like 15 years for a few different families in Beverly Hills. So I never had to work on 4th of July, but I certainly had to plan 4th of July celebrations for them. And I'll never forget this one. Oh my gosh. Well, it's my favorite family. And I still am very friendly with the woman to this day. In fact, I just talked to her a couple weeks ago. She was going to have 4th of July at her house. Now we're talking like, Beverly Hills, multi-million-dollar home. And she says to me, this is just so funny. They had a beautiful, beautiful piece of property. So they had a pool and a tennis court and plenty of acreage for you to like do whatever you wanted. So the whole family was going over to her house. And she said to me, she asked me to help her plan the menu. So I was like, all right, well, write down like, tell me what you think you want to get, because they had a housekeeper who might cook for them. I might have to find somebody to come in and cook for them that day. So, she starts rattling off all the things she wants to have on 4th of July. So she says, I want to do an heirloom tomato salad. I want to do salmon on the grill. I want to do roasted Brussels sprouts. And so I stop her and I start laughing. I said, this is not a 4th of July picnic.
Yeah.
I said,
that's just a
catered
rich white
event.
people cookout.
Yeah, I said, sounds like a catered event. This is not a 4th of July barbecue. And so she looked at me, she goes, oh, well, what's a typical 4th of July barbecue then? And I go,
tell me, peasant.
Yeah.
How do the poors celebrate 4th of July?
So of course I had to tell her. So I said, well, we do barbecue chicken on the grill, not chicken breast, like a full cut up barbecue chicken, baked beans, potato salad, corn on the cob. And she goes, oh, no. She goes, I'm not doing any middle America stuff. So she did. So I had to get her salmon. I had to make sure that we had heirloom tomatoes from the housekeeper. She had to have her quinoa. So yeah.
Worst 4th of July ever.
Worst. I agree. I was like, there's no baked beans on the menu. How do you call this a barbecue on the 4th of July? It was terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but I went back on Monday and had some salmon, and it was really good.
Oh, it's much better on a Monday than on 4th of July, for crying out loud.
So yeah.
That's weak.
I know. When 4th of July rolls around, I always think about that conversation where, she was doing she wanted a catered event, and I'm like trying to help her do a traditional backyard barbecue. We are so happy to announce that this episode of the Skip Town All-Stars Travel Podcast is being brought to you by Anytime Mailbox. James and I love Anytime Mailbox because it gives us a peace of mind while we are traveling that all of our mail is going to be in our Anytime Mailbox app. So while we are crushing barbecue on 4th of July or just traveling the United States, we know our mail is safe. Now, for a limited time to our audience only, Anytime Mailbox is offering you a 10% discount. That's right, 10% discount for our audience only. To take advantage of this offer, just head to go.anytimemailbox.com /STA. Did you get that? STA.
Oh, it's for us. Skip Town All-Stars.
Yep.
Check out Anytime Mailbox. Cannot encourage it enough. Now, back to the show.
It sound right, boy.
All right, but one thing I want to remind you, there's a recent memory we have of 4th of July when we were in Corpus Christi last year, because at the top of the show, you said, I've never been in another place, but we actually were just this past year.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, we were on the aircraft carrier, the USS Lexington, with Parker in Corpus Christi. She was so excited we were there to celebrate the holiday with her.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I think she brought it up, or
She did.
I can't remember if she brought it up or if I found it, but the USS Lexington is basically a museum now that sits on the water in Corpus Christi. It's a beautiful, beautiful ship.
Yeah.
And there's so much history on that ship. But on 4th of July, they have the deck open. It's obvious you have to pay to have tickets, and there's food up there, but you can sit on the deck of the USS Lexington and watch the fireworks over the ocean. It is incredible. It was one of the most memorable times, and how did I not remember that?
Yeah.
It's so weird. I think just because it wasn't a traditional 4th of July, like we didn't have a grill, we weren't grilling
No, we didn't.
anything like that. Like I think we just ate at home. Did we even
They
grab?
sell barbecue there.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Just like, a stand or whatever, a little barbecue stand. I don't know how you can't remember it though, because
I know.
all the chairs were like, it looked like everybody was going to get blown off of the top of the aircraft.
Do you
carrier.
remember?
The wind was insane.
Okay, so they had folding chairs that started flying in the wind. And I just thought to myself, someone's going to get killed. Like somebody is going to get killed because the ocean breeze was it wasn't a breeze. It was like, what would you say, 25 mile an hour
steady
winds?
gust the entire time we were up there. Maybe it's just like because we were so high and we were in some sort of airstream or something like that.
It was
but
crazy.
It was intense the whole time. I thought a little kid was just going to get swept away.
I did too.
Yeah.
But that was pretty memorable. The fireworks were incredible. And you had to take an actual tram or like small van from the parking lot to the Lexington because the walk was so far. Do you remember?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a schlep.
I don't know how I didn't remember
They
that.
had
It was
all
amazing.
those like old aircrafts. They had all kinds of exhibits and everything from the Navy and the Air Force and stuff. It was good.
It
cool.
was really, really cool.
So we talked about the great memories of our childhood, right? Did you have any bad 4th of July memories?
Oh yeah, like definitely like hands getting caught up in fireworks.
You saw that? You actually saw that?
Like I didn't see anybody lose a digit, but I did see like, I think like my cousin Uncle Buzzy like hurt himself like because a firework went off too soon.
How could a guy named Uncle Buzzy get hurt on 4th of July? It just sounds like he's got 15 beers in him.
Yeah, there was always minor accidents. Yeah, nobody lost a digit that I'm aware of, but there were always minor accidents, you know.
Yeah. We had a big one actually when I went to Youngstown State University. A bunch of friends and our girlfriends all went downtown to watch the fireworks in Federal Plaza. And this one particular year, I don't know what happened, but one of those cannons shot sideways into the crowd.
Oh my God.
And I remember we were all sort of sitting on the blacktop or on the curb or whatever, on the sidewalk. We were just kind of sitting, and my girlfriend at the time, poor Maria, she was on my lap, just sitting there. We were watching the fireworks. That thing started coming toward us.
Oh my
and
God.
like 30, 40 yards later, she was catching up to me. I don't know how I slid out from under her and left her like hanging in there. I know, it was a horrible
You're
boyfriend.
the worst boyfriend ever.
I know. I didn't even think. I just reacted. And I was like,
Did she
I'm out
break
of
up
here.
with you after that?
About a year. It took about a year. But yeah, eventually she said
God.
enough's enough, dude. So
You left her.
I know. She reminded me of that actually. Yeah. Periodically for the next several months. So
Oh my God.
I know.
Did anyone get hurt?
I don't know how, but no, nobody that I'm aware of had to go to the hospital or anything like that. I think a few people were like treated there on site or whatever, had to go to the med tent, but I don't recall them shutting down the show. As far as I know, no ambulance was wailing its siren, like running somebody off right away to the thing. We got really lucky. We ended up watching the rest of the show.
I was just going
We
to
came
ask
back
you.
for it, yeah. I mean, we were a little further away, mind you, but we stood and watched the grand finale. It was pretty.
Got to be kidding.
I know.
Did that clear the place out, or did everyone come back?
It kind of cleared the place out.
Yeah, I would
there was
think
a
so.
wider perimeter around the launch site. You know what I mean? But everybody still stayed down there and watched the finale. So but that one was scary.
That's a story.
Yeah.
Do you
like,
think
literal like rockets launching toward you, like fireballs coming at you? It was insane.
Do you think
I mean, I don't remember much of it because I was gone in a flash. But the minute I saw one of them, I was like, wait, that is like at eye level. It's coming right toward us.
my
And I was
gosh.
sitting on the ground.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. That was insane.
Do you
was a
think
bad one.
other people in your group recall that event and talk about it to their kids?
I would have to ask. I mean, honestly, I can't exactly remember who was with us at the time, but I remember it was at a time where, you know how you sort of like everybody matriculates and the people that were in your core group as you're all starting to graduate, it thins out or whatever. I was one of the you know, sort of the last people in my group to graduate. And but I think it was still at a time when like my core group of friends were all together. So if I did a batch message on Facebook, I probably should, and just we could post it on social media.
Absolutely.
To see who was a part of this thing.
Who remembers when the fireworks came flying in the crowd?
I guarantee. I think there were at least 2 people that were also with their girlfriends at the time who have been married ever since. Like they've been married all this time.
You know, there's these stories all across America. Like every year on this day, we always hear these stories. Like either the next day or that night, like, oh, you know, there was a party and such, and the fireworks went crazy, or it like literally burned down a whole, you know, side of a mountain.
Yeah, well, that tees up my next segment for this show rather nicely. So to just ease into that segue, I've been dipping into the Reddit.
Oh my God. No.
I've been dipping into the Reddit for some crazy 4th of July stories. I'm going to read some of the posts now. Can I just jump in? Reddit. I'm not an ER, but a firefighter EMT. I've run several calls on people hit by falling bullets, to your point, Chicagoans. On the 4th and New Year's, one person was hit right in the noggin and dropped dead at a family barbecue. Sad.
Oh my God, that's
a bad way to go.
Awful.
I know. Here's one from a nurse. Guy comes in with his hand blown off, nearly passing out from blood loss. His friends were with him, and they were obviously drunk and kept calling him Stubbs and getting in the way.
Oh my God, okay, hold on. What would cause a hand to be blown off? Was it M100?
Was
it
at least an
M100?
M80.
Oh, an M80 could do that.
I mean, a regular firecracker will probably, I think a regular firework could probably give you severe damage to a digit, maybe lose a digit. But if we're talking about a hand being blown off, you're dealing with some bigger loads of gunpowder.
So M80 or M100?
Guessing. I don't know. It doesn't say, but the friends waited while the guy went to the operating room. He ended up losing his hand. He's in recovery, and all of a sudden, boom, a firework goes off in his room.
This is a different person.
At the hospital, same guy.
Oh.
His friends, who called him Stubbs, thought it would be funny to throw some stuff on their friend, blowing off part of his foot. He lost a few toes. He lost a hand. Then his friends lit off a firework.
These are friends. Isn't that crazy?
These are his buddies, yeah. Good
oh
time.
My God, that's just awful. Like,
I know.
How could you think that that's a good idea? Like, funny. Like, he's lost a hand, now part of a foot. Like, do you think he's still friends with them?
I don't know. I don't think I would be. I'd have a hard time.
I would press
reconciling.
charges. I would press charges.
Yeah, you probably could. Okay, Virginia Beach, Virginia. I went out to walk my dog on the beach early one morning. She was acting odd and skittish, whimpering and not wanting to walk down the beach access. Then I saw the guy hunched over on his knees and shoulders, looking like his head was buried in the sand, but it wasn't. His head just wasn't there anymore. In front of him was a mortar tube standing straight up in the sand.
Wait.
A firework that you put down, like the big cannons that you put down to fire off a firework. This guy looked.
No. I don't know. There's no way.
His head was gone. Straight in the sand. The guy said, the person posting, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, says, I found him on July 7th. Dude had been there 3 days before anybody found him on the beach.
No one noticed he was missing?
I guess not. Or didn't know where he was. I'm not sure. Why would you light off fireworks like that by yourself?
Oh my God. So wait. Hold on.
Or maybe everybody
Can I
was
ask you a
hammered and they
question?
were worried and they blew off his head. He blew off his head and they were all like, we got to get out of here. We're going to get framed for this.
No, hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. Do you really think he was looking over to, like, okay,
Yeah.
if you light a firework or a mortar, whatever it is,
Sometimes
if you
they're
light a mortar,
duds. So
how do you
it
know?
happens a lot. Like
How do
that's
you know?
like sometimes people look down the barrel of their own gun.
No. But they have to pull the trigger.
I don't know. It depends. You know, it's like if the trigger has lodged so far and then you move the gun around and it lodges the rest of the way, like you never look down. You never do that. You never look down the barrel or the tube or the mortar or whatever.
Oh, hold on for a second though. I need to like figure this out in my head. If it's a bad mortar, how do you fix it? Like you have to, what do you do?
In my view, you throw it in the ocean, but like you don't like lean down over top of it. It probably was a situation where
oh my God,
his head wasn't directly over the mortar, but the thing just exploded. Because, you know, once you light that fuse, you expect it to go off. But sometimes it smolders in there.
Oh my God,
and it's
no.
smoldering.
No.
He went over to see if it was lit and boom.
No,
Yeah.
that's not right.
I know.
That's just
It's
not right.
It's
And
pretty gory, actually. Sorry to everybody who's
the
listening.
fact that it was on the 7th is really like, I'm just thinking to myself, did he have this left over and he tried to do it on the 7th, or was he really there since the 4th?
No, I think he'd been there. I think he'd been there since the 4th is the nature of the story.
Okay. No more.
One more.
No more.
Yeah, one more. And then I actually have a good one. A nice one. This guy had a drunk friend who was wielding a knife and it slipped and severed his pinky. It was barely hanging on. In spite of it being the 4th of July weekend, a period where I assume accidents that threaten delicate digits are common, there wasn't a surgeon in the city of 180,000 people who could help.
What?
The ER staff just stopped the bleeding, bandaged it, and sent him on his way with some high-end painkillers. They were able to reattach the digit when the proper surgeons came back after what I can only assume was a hell of a party. So don't get hurt on a holiday because the surgeons might be out partying too.
Okay, it was a town of 180,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
How is there not one surgeon? Not one surgeon.
On
No
4th
more.
of
I
July.
can't hear this.
I think that's a scheduling oversight.
Yeah, no more stories.
Okay, but this is a nice one.
No.
Oh, wait, this one's not nice. Responded to a call in a Walmart. Some kid lit a firework into their display of fireworks and started an industrial fire. It's kind of funny.
Oh my God.
Took 6 hours to put out. Kid got juvenile time. So that part's not funny. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of Walmart, so one burning down doesn't do much for me. It's kind of comical. Here's a good one though, because one thing we didn't mention is there are always marching bands in these parades, right?
Yes.
Always. So
I don't want to hear a story about a marching
this is a
band
good
going.
one. Nobody's getting blown up in this one. All right, just let me finish. Just finished up our second parade of 3 today. While we were warming up for parade 2, we had to kind of do a line instead of an arc because we were kind of cramped against the neighborhood road. While we were assessing the situation and standing around waiting, we saw a group of small kids start dancing with a speaker playing music, and one of our trumpet players near the group started dancing with them. Soon the whole corps is joining the dance party and we were all having fun, even the staff. After doing that, we high-fived the kids and went to play one of our encore lot pieces. While playing one of the last big hits, I saw a lady watching from outside her house who was tearing up from us playing.
Aww.
Then we got icy pops from the local community and went about our march route. I just love playing for people, playing in the band, and they loved us. It was great vibes all around. Today will be a day I remember for a long time. And it isn't even over yet.
Aww.
How about that? See how I bring it back to positive?
That was very nice.
Yeah.
I heard kids, trumpets. It was a really, in my head was not pretty.
You thought I was going there?
In my head was not pretty. I'm thinking a firecracker thrown in like a trumpet. Oh yeah, not.
We're not going to blow up a bunch of band kids today. We're good.
All right.
We're back to net positive.
All right, good.
So anyway, what else you got? Anything else about 4th of July?
Well, just that, I don't know. I mean, when we talk about the holidays and stuff, I always think to myself, like, ooh, 4th of July ranks pretty high.
Yeah.
But what are your holidays, like, in order of rank? Like, where does 4th of July sit for you? Like, what's
Top
number one?
3?
Yeah, top 3, sure.
Halloween. I love Halloween. Whether or not I'm dressing up, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I just love the vibes. I loved trick or treating as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to take the kids out trick or treating as their parent was
Yeah.
awesome. It was always so much fun. You always would put out a big fat spread for our friends in Los Angeles, and everybody would merge at our house after work, half dressed, mostly dressed, some people in full costume already, and it was just super festive. I mean, we'd have like 20 people, we'd have a whole posse going out there trick or treating with the kids. It was a good time. I really missed that. That was fun. So that Halloween's my number 1. July 4th is my number 2.
Oh, wow.
It's before Christmas. Christmas is my number 3.
How does Christmas not rank number 1?
I like warm weather. I love the fact that 4th of July is in the summer. I always had a good time as a kid. I had a few really bad Christmases. Go listen to our Christmas episode. But I could say pound for pound, every 4th of July, with the exception of that time in Youngstown when they were shooting fireworks into the crowd, I can't really say I can't remember having a bad experience on 4th of July.
Wow, but you had a bad experience on Christmas. Well, I also know that, like, you've shared, before that it was always financially a struggle. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure that played a part into it. God, Christmas is number 1 for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Easter.
Easter?
Because I really love doing the eggs. Oh my God, and I love doing the baskets.
That's kind of a surprise.
I really love putting the baskets together for the kids. I like Easter dinner. I've always liked, the scalloped potatoes. I used to be a ham person, not so much now, but I really like Easter. And then I would say for number 3, I think it's 4th of July. I don't think it's Halloween.
You really had to waver there. Are you
did.
Antifa? Are you commie?
I could be.
What's going on
All
with
these
you?
years.
I have to check your phone.
Yeah, I had to waver because I wasn't sure, was it Halloween or 4th of July? And I still really like 4th of July. It just is a different feel. You know why? Because Halloween doesn't matter. Like, it seems like you always have to go back to your regularly scheduled program the day after Halloween.
True.
So it's like you decorate the house, you buy the candy, you go trick-or-treating. You could be ending Halloween at like 11 o'clock at night if you have kids. You know what I'm talking about. Or if you're single or married, but you're at Halloween parties, you're ending at 11 o'clock. You have to be at work the next day. Nobody gives you the day after Halloween off. But 4th of July, a lot of businesses will give you July 5th off. So I felt like 4th of July was just kind of like a 2-day celebration, and it wasn't business as usual the next day. And 4th of July tends to fall, well, it doesn't always.
No, I think this year it's like on a Wednesday or something.
Right? It is, yeah. But like you have the whole week off. A lot of people do that, or they'll have the day after off.
Like work just emailed everybody and said, look, we know you're going to be wasteful with our time and money all week, so just take the week off.
Yeah, I don't know. So for me, that's why I picked the 4th over Halloween.
Okay,
Yeah.
Got it. Well, I would also say, in fairness to you, barbecue is your favorite food.
It is.
So
It is.
You serve barbecue on Halloween. So
I do.
It would only naturally proceed that 4th of July would get the edge.
That is a very good point.
I remember you would always make like barbecue chicken and ribs and all that
Yeah,
stuff
for
on Halloween.
I know. It was a crowd pleaser.
4th of July in October.
Yep.
I love it. So, all right. Well, okay. So we got all that business done.
Yeah.
It's without further ado, I think we should just jump into the 10 best 4th of July towns in America.
Okay, let me guess one. Because when you said you were doing this.
This is going to be a surprise.
Okay.
There are some skip town, previously visited towns on here.
Are you serious?
But not many. There are going to be some.
Okay.
There are some outliers. So go
I
ahead.
know one of them has to be a town in Indiana. Because Indiana is like Americana.
Well, according to the Travel Channel, we'll just go down the list, but I don't think there are any in Indiana.
What?
Yeah.
What?
In
Okay.
fact, no. I can say without reserve, there are none in Indiana as per
Wow.
the Travel Channel. The first one is St. Augustine, Florida, number 10. Why not? It's the oldest city in America, 1565. That's a long freaking time.
Agreed.
Enjoy fireworks over the Matanzas Bay and the Castillo de San Marcos Wow, I really said that. I've taken enough Spanish to not butcher that, and yet I butchered
I know,
it.
but it doesn't seem very Americana.
Castillo de San Marcos, the oldest fort in the U.S. That's Americana.
It is.
Living
All those
up on
Spanish
local...
words, though, are not.
No, all the Spanish words are not, but that's who we got Florida from.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
You know, I think they ceded it to us. I'm not sure we battled for it. I think they gave it to us.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, live it up on local brews and blue crab beignets. Have you ever had a blue crab beignet?
I've not.
Neither have I. Does it sound good to you?
Not at all.
Oh my gosh, it sounds kind of good to me.
Sounds disgusting.
Like, I know there are like lobster beignets. Beignet?
It's a beignet.
Beignet is
Beignet.
John Ramsey beignet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a
Whatever her name
beignet.
Okay. We've had enough death and destruction in this
Yeah,
podcast. We're not going to talk about that. Number 9, Pleasure Island, North Carolina. Fresh seafood, waterfront dining, and fireworks. The perfect getaway for the 4th.
I'm so sorry. I just don't see seafood as 4th of July.
I don't
just
either.
don't.
I don't.
I think we need to chuck this list. You got 2 on there already I don't agree with.
I mean, it is a travel channel, so I don't know. I got to trust they've been to some of
All
these
right,
places.
go ahead. Keep going.
Pleasure Island, North Carolina. I don't even know where that is.
I have no idea.
Me neither. But
It's on the water.
Fireworks on the beach sounds awesome. So, number 8, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Ah,
Yay,
okay.
a Skip Town favorite. USA Today voted Knoxville the most patriotic city in America.
Oh, why is that?
I don't know. I guess they just bring it
They
when it
do
comes
bring
to like
it.
the red, white, and blue.
Wow. And they have the barbecue. It's built right in.
They do have the barbecue. World's Fair Park is rocking all day with festivities and the barbecue and the local breweries and a famous fireworks display at night.
Oh, well, that's why it's like legendary and on the list. You have a famous fireworks display. Who can say they have a famous fireworks display?
And World's Fair Park is a great place to have a 4th
Wow.
of July
And that's what number?
celebration.
8?
It's number 8.
With a famous fireworks display.
We got so much more to go.
All right, keep going.
Flagstaff, Arizona, number 7, celebrating our freedom from tyranny right next to the natural wonder of the Grand Canyon. Probably is not a twist you have considered, but after the parades and fun, you can find yourself a nice mountain trail and a vantage point of the fireworks you won't get just anywhere.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Do you remember, hold on real quick. Do you remember being in Lake Havasu, Arizona one time?
Yeah.
And the huge fireworks display that they do like in Vegas, they were
It was
practicing.
like it wasn't a
practicing.
convention,
No,
but
they were-
it was like, there were like all sorts of fireworks manufacturers out there testing
Yes.
their fireworks in the desert.
Yes.
I remember it was really windy and cold that night. It was like in the winter, right? We went.
I think it
We
was.
were all bundled
it
up.
was
We
in-
had coats on.
Might have been like March.
Yeah.
Because they're getting ready for 4th of July, so they're practicing.
Yeah.
So we're at the practice run, which really seems dangerous.
They were testing the fireworks on us. Yeah, what could go wrong?
And we were like, let's go, kids.
Let's go, kids. And we did. And it was awesome. We stood at the top of the hill and we saw them going off
There
everywhere.
were people everywhere doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty
It was
awesome.
4th of July in March.
Yeah. Block Island, Rhode Island.
Oh, what?
Yeah, right near Newport. We kind of sort of saw where Block Island was when we were with Allie back in the Newport episode.
Yeah, but we didn't go.
We did not go. But if you want to go to highfalutin 4th of July celebrations, charter yourself a boat and grab a lobster roll. You can also maybe find a lighthouse to hang out and watch the night sky light up. So bring out your docksiders and some pricey gin and you'll be all set.
Okay, I have to tell you, even though I say to you, seafood doesn't feel like very 4th of July, that sounds
It does there.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, like hanging at a lighthouse, having a lobster roll, watching fireworks, I'm down.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so down. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I mean, it just has that sort of New England type of 5 generations since the 6 generations
Yeah.
since the Revolutionary War. People hanging out in their little boat shoes and their sweaters draped over their shoulders.
I'm picturing it, 100%.
Just sort of taking advantage of their forefathers dying in a field somewhere. It's good. Bucks County, Pennsylvania, number 5. You ever been to Bucks County?
Have you?
I don't think I have.
I have
either.
not. Have you?
No, I think it's on the eastern side of the state. I just haven't been there a ton.
Wow.
Not
How did
sure though.
that make the list?
Well, there are 7 historic streets in this county, and we dare you to hit them all. They all have parades.
What?
Several choices for fireworks displays and a quaint New England vibe make this a can't-miss spot for Independence Day. Literally, drive somewhere you can't miss Independence Day.
Wow.
7 streets, 7 parades, all that stuff. So,
Okay, that's pretty epic. I
Yeah.
can see why that's on the list.
that's good. Number 4 is Addison, Texas. This little town is in the greater Dallas area, but dang, they bring it. They have an all-day celebration that includes an air show, skydivers, acrobatics, a carnival with rides and games, and an insane fireworks show to cap it off
Oh
with
my
a bang.
gosh, that sounds amazing. Okay,
That sounds like 4th of July.
that does. I have to
Heart
say,
of Texas.
yes.
Are you kidding?
I was just gonna say, okay, if Indiana isn't on there, Texas has got to be on there.
Yep, Texas made the list. The next one's also a little bit
What
of a
number are we
surprise.
on?
We are going to, I just did number 4, that was Addison. So number 3 is Bend, Oregon. Can you see it?
No.
Okay, me neither, because we've actually been there. In keeping with the nature theme that we just talked about in Flagstaff, make a mini vacation out of your 4th of July travels and hit the Oregon outback for celestial stargazing at Fort Rock.
This is hippy dippy stuff.
Then rise and shine and get those tired bones to an easier trek on Ben's Ale Trail, but make sure you've got a designated driver that you can take over to the 4th of July pet parade. Goats are welcome.
This is very hippy.
And the old-fashioned celebration in Drake Park. Allegedly, it's like a Norman Rockwell painting, and I think this is why it made it so high on the list. I'm not even sure some of our audience knows who Norman Rockwell is, but just like Google 1940s Norman Rockwell painter.
Yeah.
Maybe 20s, 30s. I don't know. He would always paint the covers of Reader's
Okay,
Digest,
I
which
can
also is dating.
Right. Nobody knows what Reader's Digest is. If there's a millennials, if they're listening, they have no idea what you just said.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Bend, Oregon made the list.
I know.
I can see because it's quirky, but number 3 out of
pretty
10.
high on the list.
No, it should be number 10.
You
like,
think
or
so?
not even on.
Okay.
Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to be hiking on 4th of July, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, anyway, they shoot the fireworks off at Pilot Butte. Do you know where that is?
No.
That's the mountain that you and I climbed, that park, where we met the people, the rangers, the park rangers
Oh
that
my
came up
gosh.
and talked
Are you
to the-
serious?
They shoot the fireworks off from up there.
Well, it's really high.
Yeah,
We've been there.
it is.
Still wouldn't put it on the list, though, but go ahead.
Okay. You're on record. Boyne City, Michigan. Boyne. Never heard of it. But if you like cherry pie on the 4th, there's no better place to be than Boyne City.
I love cherry pie.
I think
God,
Michigan's
love
kind
cherry
of famous for
pie.
it. Yeah.
Oh my God, they are famous for it.
Yeah. Their celebration is called the Best 4th in the North.
Ooh, continue.
That's a bold claim, right?
I want to hear this.
They mean business. It lasts for 2 days. So you'll be so happy on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You get the 3rd and 4th to party, and then the 5th to recover. It includes a rubber ducky river race.
Oh, that's so cute.
Several parades, and what Reader's Digest, harkening back to that, calls the best small town fireworks display in the United States.
Okay.
Sounds impressive.
It does.
They got a cornhole tournament that goes for 6 or 7 hours.
You love cornhole.
For all the frat bros, an Independence Day breakfast for the community.
Aw.
Nice. Decorated bike parade for the kids, as if the rubber duckies weren't enough.
Oh my God.
Pie eating contest.
I would
Say
be
no
there.
more.
I would totally be there.
Little cherry pie eating contest.
I would totally be there.
The Rotary Club sells rotary chickens. I don't know why I thought that was kind of novel. And a river raft race. We have to add this to our list. It sounds like a big deal for a town I did not even know
Oh my
existed.
God. Maybe next 4th of July we'll go there.
Maybe. And finally, this one threw me, and I know based on some of your responses to a couple of the other ones, it's going to throw you. Keystone, South Dakota.
Really?
Yeah. Better said, celebrate the 4th at Mount Rushmore. In addition to having the 4 presidential goats carved in rock, Keystone puts the native back into their American celebration. Lots of Lakota Nation cultural demonstrations, rodeo events, a carnival, car show, and wine tasting against the epic backdrop of the northern edge of the American frontier.
Wow.
Kind of American.
That is like very American.
Yeah, like real American.
Who would think South Dakota was number 1? Never. Never. I had Indiana. I had Texas. South Dakota was not on my
I
list.
would not have expected it either.
Yeah.
Pro tip, if you want even less hustle and bustle on your 4th of July, take the 2-hour drive from Keystone to Devil's Tower in Wyoming.
Okay.
Do you remember Devil's Tower?
No.
It was the tower in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, okay. That was like 1,000 years ago. It wasn't even my favorite movie or even
Maybe
close.
get
I
lucky
saw
and see some aliens on the 4th of July.
Oh.
Anyway, that's all I got. That's
Well,
my 4th of July wrap up.
I think it's really good. And I think if you know, listener out there, any listener out there thinks that they have a better 4th of July, send it to us. I'll post it. I'll
Yeah.
put it on Instagram. If you
We'll
think you have a
challenge this
better,
list.
let's do it. You give me yours, I'll give you mine.
Nothing more American than throwing down. I love it. Okay, so lots of hot dogs, hamburgers, and pie in our future.
Oh, yeah.
Next week.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, we want to wish all of you a very happy 4th of July with you and yours. It's about time to wrap this up. We got to hit the road. Take them out, Trixie.
Empty nest, full tank.
America.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.